at IoT Evolution, and really an honor to speak with everybody about what's going on in this space from an AT&T perspective. My personal story, I started with AT&T 26 years ago, and I started in the day when we were putting in plain old telephone service. Caller ID was a brand new product, and we were still putting additional lines into kids' bedrooms. So a lot has changed over the last 26 years. But what I can honestly tell you is that from my perspective, I've never been more excited about what I'm working on and what the power of IoT is going to be doing to really transform the way the world is operating. And so I'm going to dive into a couple different things today that I think should be pretty exciting about where we see this going. What is happening in the ecosystem today? Where are we actually seeing real traction? And then what are the tools and capabilities we're really bringing out to the developer ecosystem to drive innovation even faster? So as I like to say here, IoT is changing lives. I mean, and fundamentally, it's changing how we live. And you really can just imagine the unlimited potential that there is. But just think about how IoT is already impacting the single, everyday individual person, and whether it's your home, and what you're able to do now to monitor your home security and be able to you really tap into your security from virtually anywhere. Your ability to automate a number of devices within inside your home, from your thermostats to your lighting to water and in your doors. So I mean, all this is now connected cars. I mean, a huge space for us. AT&T has over 8 million cars now connected, with over 19 different brands. But we've got everything going on from safety and performance and diagnostics and in-vehicle entertainment actually happening inside these vehicles right now. And we're just and you're hearing all the discussion about where it's going with autonomous driving, vehicle to vehicle, vehicle to infrastructure. Wearables, again, most of you, many of you in the room have got wearables. You're tracking your sleep rate, your heart rates, your sleep patterns, in all your daily activities right now. And again, we're just scratching the surface. And then healthcare is another place where we're beginning to see a lot of traction, where we're now figuring out how can we actually support people across the journey of the health process, from going into the hospital to being discharged, having remote patient monitoring, being able to interact with your doctor, remotely at any place at any time, and being able to share information about your life. At the end of the day, I like to say, I hope someday we're going to get to the point where we're not just sharing information, but we're going to actually be getting a call from our doctor saying, it looks like you're about to get sick because I can see what's going on with you. That's where we really need to get to. One of the things AT&T just did recently here is we opened up a healthcare innovation center in Houston, Texas. The reason we chose Houston is the Texas Medical Center is the largest medical center in the world, and has established an innovation center called TMCX. AT&T is plugged right in the middle of that with Johnson & Johnson and a number of other companies to really tap into the developer community to be able to design devices and solutions inside this incubator, and then take it straight out of those facilities and into the hospital ecosystem to see how we can get real impacts, with real solutions as quickly as possible. So that's a good example of what we're doing in healthcare. A great example of this was a connected wheelchair that we've created recently, and it used a lot of the same things that we've done in connected car. But what people wanted to know was, is the wheelchair operating the appropriate way? Can I get diagnostics off the battery? Can I know where the location is of the chair? And oh, by the way, if the chair were to fail, could I actually alert somebody in an emergency situation? So we were able to bring a company called PerMobile into our foundries, build out a proof of concept with them, and then we were also able to take it to the next level. We were able to split that data and share it between the technicians, between the doctors, and between the caregivers, so that everyone in that ecosystem could know what the chair was operating like and could be alerted if there was any issues. And we're now taking that product into market. So again, a good example of a real life use case that we've created on the personal level. I think the other piece is that it's really transforming the way we work, and if we kind of go, I like to say it's just transforming business, and it's virtually across every single industry. And again, you heard about connected tires earlier, but you think about just a couple different great examples of retail and how vending machines are being connected up to support real-time solutions, agriculture, and making sure that we're able to improve the uptime and extend the life of farming equipment to make sure that we're able to harvest on time and be alerted when there's issues with the crops. Manufacturing and what's happening in that process to be able to drive out costs and improve efficiencies. Energy, you think about all the smart lighting solutions and how can we really transform the way energy is being consumed in a much more efficient manner, particularly you think about the smart cities environments that are happening. And then, transportation, supply chain are just another, great area where we are truly seeing solutions being deployed. We talk a lot about our Maersk relationship and the fact that we've got 260,000 shipping containers around the world that are transmitting information in real time about the state of that container, the temperature inside that container, and where it's located. These are real solutions that are in the marketplace right now. And at the end of the day, IoT fundamentally is the thread that we can really weave through every single business to help that business produce new levels of efficiency, create great savings, or create new revenue streams. And businesses are rolling these things out at an ever-increasing pace. And let's just take a look at the forecast. 35 billion. 35 billion is the number now that we're expecting through 2020 of being connected on a global scale. And again, you hear lots of numbers, on lower than that and higher than that. This is a good median point of what we think is going to be out there. I like the fact that this is 4 times what the world's population is going to be, at that stage. And more businesses are rolling these solutions out. And what I think you're going to see also is that AT&T as being in this industry for over 10 years, we've got the insights and the visibility of having the experience of working across a number of these different businesses to see what's working in one industry and be able to apply it into another. And we're doing this on a global scale. And with that said, the one thing we are hearing though from a lot of the people working in this ecosystem is it's just not that easy still to be able to make these things happen. And so this is a survey, that AT&T does research around this space, and we conducted a survey of the developer community, and we learned that 63% of developers building IoT solutions still say it's challenging to do so. And so what I want to spend a little bit of time on is why is it challenging? What are developers telling us? And then what are we doing to be able to enable this to happen more easily for the developer community? So the first thing we got to talk about is how is it going to be connected, right? And I think what we've got here is with connectivity, it is difficult, if not impossible, to be able to serve every single use case with one size fits all. And so you've got a range of connectivity solutions that are out there to choose from. And you can see on here from short range to low power wide area to global cellular to satellite. In fact, you may have heard AT&T made a recent announcement in satellite where we've partnered up with Globecom and AT&T to have a seamless fallback from a satellite solution onto cellular so that when cellular was available, we would use it. If not, we would fall over to satellite and be able to support those use cases that are more remote in nature. You think about agriculture, you think about oil and gas, you think about places that don't have the cellular infrastructure built out. So again, I think what's really important is to understand that there's a myriad of different solutions that are out there. And what's important to understand then is that how do you then pick the right solution to put your IoT device onto, and also how do these interplay? So in the short range space, again, primarily you're talking Wi-Fi, but you've got Bluetooth and Zigbee and Z-Wave and others, and we're building out these local mesh networks. We've talked about the satellite and the coverage that provides. And then you've got really a whole range of cellular technologies, right? So you still have got some 2G out there. You've got 3G, 4G LTE, and you're beginning to see actually that the wireless networks are being what I would say more optimized for IoT. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how that then feeds into this low power wide area, because to me this is one of the most exciting spaces where we're beginning to tackle some of the real challenges that have been out there, particularly on the wireless side, about dealing with in-building coverage, dealing with battery life, and dealing with costs associated with putting things onto wireless. And that's what low power really is enabling us to do, is it's allowing us to get into some of these spaces with a cellular technology that we haven't been able to get into historically. Now in this low power wide area space, there are really kind of 2 different camps of solutions. There's what's in the unlicensed space, and there's what's in the licensed technology. And so again, in the unlicensed, you're going to hear about things like LoRa, you're going to hear about ultra narrowband solutions like Sigfox, and then you're going to hear about random phase multiple access solutions that are out there as well. And these are all going to be working in the unlicensed space. We also have just come out with some new standards in the licensed area, and these are going to be, what you're going to hear is Category M and narrowband IoT. Okay, and these are going to be a couple of the new standards you're going to hear about that are really targeting in to be able to take the licensed spectrum and be able to offer some of those same solutions that you're seeing in the unlicensed space today, and do it, both securely and be able to do that across the globe from a scale perspective. So again, what I think is if you kind of then say, if you've got this foundation of networks, how do you choose what network to go on? And these are really all the factors that you have to look at, right? Let's just kind of go across the top. You've got to figure out what coverage do you need. Is it urban? Is it rural? Is it indoor? Is it outdoor? Is it land or sea? Is it local or is it global? These are all factors that are going to go into the coverage that you're going to need and the network technology that's going to serve you best. The next is going to be battery life. We talked about again is you think about everybody in the room. We've got our smartphones. How long do those things typically last? I mean, it's a day, right? If we're lucky, probably not even a half a day in many cases. That's not going to work for a lot of the IoT devices. We need years and multi-years of solutions. So how do we really optimize for battery life? You think about a wearable on your arm. You don't want to again have to charge that every day. It becomes a pain. You think about asset tracking and devices that are out there that are going to be put into the wild and you don't have a power source. How can you really begin to connect things that have a challenge with regard to power and battery? You think about throughput. And this is really important. I mean, are you doing bits and bytes of data, or are you doing video? All right. Are you, think about the connected car, and you're putting cars. You're doing streaming internet radio. You're doing Wi-Fi hotspots in cars. You're going to need a different, type of connectivity technology than a low-power solution in that environment, because that's just not. You're not going to have the throughput you're going to need to build the solution that you want to have. And again, is it mobile? Is this going to be moving, or is it going to be a fixed solution? So, all these different things are really playing out as far as the things that you need to be thinking about when you're building the solutions. And what I'd also say is that what we tend to see more and more at AT&T is that you might start with one idea, but then you say, what else can I do now that I have connectivity there? One of my favorite examples is around streetlights. We sat down, with one of our big partners. And we talked about connecting the streetlight, really to do two things. One, to know if the bulb was working or not. And the second was to actually put a motion sensor on there to only turn it on and off when there was traffic going by it. And then we say, well, heck, we have LTE connectivity to this light. What can we do with it now that we have that? And we said, well, we could put air quality sensor, on there and begin to get some information there. We could put, traffic sensors on it. We could put video cameras on it and be able to get some real-time information. We could turn it into a billboard and put digital signage hanging off of it. We could turn it into an emergency call box. We can do all those things because we have connectivity going to that asset. And so what became, what we started with a little bit of connectivity and some lightweight usage, all of a sudden became, gigabytes of data, and a myriad of usages. And so I think this is what we need to be thinking about: is that, how do we design for what we have now, but also how do we design for what we may have in the future? So that brings me back to what we had talked about earlier on a kind of a pretty cool announcement that we're making today around this new technology on the Category M side. And we just announced today that AT&T is piloting this new Cat M software. We will be launching this in San Francisco in fourth quarter. And the goal, again, is to really address the key values of low power, wide area, really being, giving greater in-building coverage, giving extended battery life, and giving lower costs while leveraging a software update to our macro network in the licensed spectrum. And so more specifically, with battery life, we're talking about going, again, from days to multiple years of battery life. When you're thinking about coverage, think about getting into subterranean environments, getting 3-4 floors down in a garage or in a basement to be able to connect things that haven't been able to be connected before. And then again, when we talk about costs, this is, today we have got the lowest cost 4G LTE Category 1 module in the market at $14.99, we're now talking about getting sub $10 on Category M initially, and moving it down is approaching half of that over the course of time. So when we start getting our costs of putting the connectivity in down to these types of levels, we can connect obviously more and more things. The business cases make more and more sense. Does that make sense to everybody? So we're pretty excited about what we're doing. We've got a number of companies that are actually coming in on this trial with us. So some of the different use cases we're looking at are alarm monitoring, smart metering, vending, propane tank monitoring. We've got several others that we're looking at, again, that are really ideal for this kind of lower bits of information being shared. And so if you've got ideas or products that you want to talk about how you could work with AT&T around getting in on the front end of this Category M deployment, please find me or shoot me a note afterwards. The goal is actually to do this deployment in fourth quarter, to be able to run the tests out, and then to literally do a complete network software upgrade across the entire LTE network in 2017. And again, that's probably one of the biggest advantages, to being able to do this, is that we already have an LTE network that covers 300 million people across the United States, and being able to do a software update to offer these Category M solutions nationwide versus having to go and build a complete overlay network is actually speeding our time to market to be able to offer these solutions on a nationwide basis. So that's what we're doing in Category M. So next, let's talk about what our developers are also saying beyond the connectivity. And the next big challenge is what to do with the data now that we're getting data from these connected devices. And really implementing the IoT solutions involves collecting the information, but also integrating it into the back-end business systems so we can then take action against the data in real time as we're getting it from these endpoints. And just as much of our focus is on connectivity, it needs to be then how do we take and leverage this information to do great things with it. And when we asked the developers about what are they looking for in this space, their top 3 areas that they've told us that they need are really these. One is security. How can we securely get the data from the endpoints into our systems and be able to take action against that data? The second is really around data storage. Where is that going to go? And then the third is around visualization. And you're going to have some data being stored at the edge. You're going to have some being stored in the cloud. You're going to, again, and then you need the right visualization tools, and analytics behind what you're going to do with the data to have it transform your business. Believe it or not, though, the #1 inhibitor for most businesses that we talk to is the first one, is security. Is that I love the idea of these things being connected, but you've got to show me that I'm not exposing my business and making my business more risky because I'm actually bringing on Internet of Things into my business. And so, AT&T is actually doing a lot to address all these areas. And so what I'll walk you through here are some of the platforms and solutions that we're really kind of bringing across the ecosystem to help go after these needs and others. If you start with security, we've got, well, I'll start at the very top and work down. Analytics as a service is really, about how can AT&T bring all of the big data capabilities that we've got, with our own networks and the information we have, and partner that up with the data that's coming from these end devices to be able to create meaningful insights. And you'll see us being able to provide more and more services in that capability. At the security level, we're building out an entire portfolio of solutions at the device layer, at the network layer, at the application layer, and then using real-time threat detection on our networks to be able to provide insights back to businesses about what we're seeing before it might even hit the edge of the business. Over 70% of the world's traffic touches AT&T's network at some point in fashion on a daily basis. So we've got the ability to see things that others might not be able to see. And we're even looking to bring in, the capability to also bring solutions where we can go out and do security assessments for businesses to help them make sure that what they're designing is designed appropriately. And we're trying at AT&T to design IoT solutions with security from the ground up. MDEX and Flow are really, our data capture and really application development platforms so that you can take, get information off these endpoints regardless of the connectivity, be able to aggregate it up, and then be able to write quick code to be able to take action against the data. And we have both these products that are commercial and in the market today. And they're also tied in with other ecosystems. So you don't have to, if you have a place where you want to put your data, it doesn't have to stay in AT&T's cloud. We can move it to Microsoft Azure. We can move it into IBM. We can move it into the other, we can move it into Amazon and other cloud environments where you're storing your data already, and we can make that happen for you through these tools. And then you've got, a couple other things that are just foundational. Billing, how are we, at the end of the day, how do you make money in this space? And we've got amazing billing platforms where we can, provide billing support on a wholesale basis. We can also provide it on a retail basis. And one of the unique things that we've done is a split billing capability. And this might have application for you in different situations, but here's the example in the connected car. As an OEM, I would like to be able to pull information off the vehicle to know is the vehicle working appropriately and be able to do diagnostics. And I might even want to be able to do over-the-air updates to the vehicle. And I'm willing to pay for that as an automaker. But if the customer wants to turn their car into a mobile hotspot, I don't want to be, as an automaker, on the hook if the kids are running Netflix in the backseat of the car. And so I'd like to be able to bill that directly to an end consumer. Well, AT&T has the ability to do what we call split billing, and we can take that same single SIM chip and split the billing between a wholesale relationship and a retail relationship, for the businesses. And so we're doing this in car, we're doing this in a number of other verticals. Control Center is really our platform to be able to enable you to onboard quickly and be able to get up and running and be able to really manage a device through its life cycle, as well as be able to do some programs around how you want to move things to different rate plans based upon usage and some different insights and analytics. And then finally, IoT Gateway is another thing we've just launched. This is about creating a single interface that works on a global scale, so businesses can plumb into AT&T's IoT Gateway, and then regardless of any other carrier in the world, what service or solution they're using to do provisioning on the back end, we can tie in through there. So businesses only have to provision once into AT&T, and then we take the heavy lifting of tying into the different carrier ecosystems at the control center layer and at the billing layers, so we make it really easy for businesses to do business on a global scale. So all those things help with speed. And what I think, at the end of the day, this is about how do we get to market faster. And what I'll show you here is that, in that same research study, over 60% of developers, plan to use an application enablement platform to launch their solutions because it's going to help them focus on developing their solution, with foundation that's already been built out. And when you're actually able to use some tools that are already enabled, and you can focus on getting your vertical solution correct, it really speeds your time to market and drives cost out. And I think this next video I'm going to run for you guys, it will be pretty exciting. We have a couple companies, Grindbit and Ceratasa, that we're going to walk through how they're using, some of the AT&T platforms to help speed them to market.
I've been grinding my teeth for over 10 years. Currently, there is no solution, and that's where exactly Grindbit comes in. It measures how hard, how often, and which side you've been grinding on. This way you can get information to see which treatment works or not. Throughout the development of Grindbit, I've used many different types of hardware, but the M2X always stayed the same. It provided me an IoT cloud platform. It is also very well written for all the major platforms, so developers can integrate this extremely easily.
When people think of integration, they think it should be very simple, but in reality, a lot of times it's not. There's lots of different platforms out there connected to lots of different systems. We want to be able to connect those together. Having tools such as Flow and M2X really enable us to do that.
Ceratasa is a team of developers, engineers, and designers, and we view the next wave of technology innovation to be in the IoT space. We were introduced to M2X as part of a project that we're working on with National Signal. We're helping them move from an asset management solution to a field service solution where they can be more proactive around how they deploy their technicians. National Signal's clients are now able to log in, view all of their signs, remotely manage, update them. Using M2X, we realized that we can reduce the development costs by around 30%, as well as speed up our delivery timeline by 3 months.
My developers love M2X because it has great documentation, great support, and if they have any questions, they can write an email and get a response pretty fast.
The infrastructure around M2X is rock solid, reliable, it's scalable, and we don't need to rebuild databases and message brokers and provisioning tools. It's all contained within M2X.
I use M2X and Flow because it just works. And I believe this will help a lot of other developers because our time is better served in building our products and not worrying about the entire hassles of the back end.
So pretty exciting stuff, and so the last challenge really then is, so how do we get moving faster? How can we help developers really get to market as quickly as possible? And what you'll see up here on the slide is, again, something we're announcing today, as part of this conference, is the new AT&T IoT starter kit. I like to call it IoT in a box. But this starter kit is going to give developers everything they need to be able to build out connected solutions. And let me show you something here that makes this different. This kit basically comes with a full breadth of solutions. You've got a Category 1 LTE module included in the box. You've got the ability to, so that's going to work on our networks right outside the box. You're going to get an AT&T SIM card, global SIM, that can work around the world, and you're going to get a 6-month, developer plan for connectivity. You're also going to get, free cloud storage, with M2X, as well as you're going to have access to Flow Designer, so you can actually begin to design, the different solutions right off the box. So when you actually set up this solution, you'll do a single log on, and you're going to have actually the ability to get into all those different systems that are there. You're going to have open APIs to be able to deal with all this, and you're going to have access to AT&T Control Center to be able to move the thing through different states of activation, all with all within a single box kit, and all for only $99. And this is, to me, we've done a lot of benchmarking, in the industry about to take all these different piece parts. You've got an Arduino board, inside this. You've got the LTE modem. You've got the connectivity. You've got the cloud storage. You've got application environment. Putting all this together for only $99 truly is best in class, and we're super excited to be announcing this today. We think it's really going to help change the game as far as speed of getting your ideas built and then deployed as quickly as possible. We also have tied these platforms off with some of the biggest ecosystems as well, and we're going to, while this is a generic kit that will be launching for the first time, it will be used this weekend at AT&T Shape in San Francisco, which is our developers conference. You can go online now and order it. It'll be shipped to you in the mid-August timeframe as a generic kit, but then we're also tying off with Microsoft and others to build kits that are uniquely designed to tie into their back-end environments that will be coming out later this year as well. So we're very excited about this. I think we're really kind of getting to a place where we're trying to make sure we're providing the right tools and capabilities to enable everyone to move faster in this ecosystem. And so I'll just kind of close on this. I think it's an amazing time we live in. IoT is truly changing the way consumers are interacting with everything from their car to their home, the way we're transforming businesses to operate more efficiently, the way we're transforming cities to completely reimagine the way cities are operating and the way they're actually pulling in citizens to live in their cities. And we at AT&T want to drive the innovation and really unleash the full potential of IoT that is here to be able to offer a massive change in society, not just here in the United States, but around the world. You may have seen our advertising campaigns. We believe in the power of and we think there's no better place that comes to life than here inside the IoT business. We offer you the business to be local and global. You can be open and secure. You can be flexible and reliable. And we're going to have both the ability to be fast to market, but have precision, that we can be connected and independent, and ultimately we have for both human and machine all coming together to really transform the way businesses are operating on a global scale. And so thank you guys very, very much for your time. I wish you all the very best, and here's to changing the world together.